Now, in addition to doing comedy scores, you also started doing some really interesting genre work, and we're going to be playing music from The Lost Boys and Santa 85, which was an episode you did for Amazing Stories, which Entrada has just put out. And again, you haven't really, since those days, had the chance to score horror movies or flat-out fantasies for the most part.
Well, it's funny because, you kind of, as I say, you take what's put in front of you. It's not, I think the more we try to design a career, the more we fail at the design. So oftentimes, an opportunity arises and you grab it. And one of those was Lost Boys, and, another was Santa 85, and there you are, and there you were, and now you're here. So it's not by choice or by design that any of this stuff has happened. I feel like I'm kind of floating around and grabbing at what's in front of me without trying to think too much about it.
Now, The Lost Boys is a huge cult movie where the vampires inhabit an amusement park. And your score actually uses this really cool calliope sound. Tell me a bit about working on The Lost Boys.
I remember that I was working with a keyboard player named Rick Marvin, who's now a composer in his own right, and he had gone and done a lot of sampling of some weird organs or some huge organs. I think I had done some sampling myself of organs. And I guess the idea was, well, what could you do in an amusement park where you have a kind of a waltz time and, a calliope kind of feeling and create something. And I guess that's what we did. I do remember, this was so many years ago, I do remember the song that kind of, I don't know if it began the movie, it had the lyrics. It was all kind of there. Joel Schumacher had commissioned this song before I was hired on. I'd been hired on, but before I actually started work, and one of the tasks was to arrange that.
How is it fitting your score around this terrific rock soundtrack?
In those days, I really thought long and hard about how to integrate, how should a score make sense around songs. I think less about that now. Obviously there has to be stylistic congruity, but oftentimes you want songs to stand out in relief to score as opposed to feel that score has to match it.
How did you get the gig to do Amazing Stories? There are a lot of really amazing composers who worked in that, like, John Williams, Johnny Mandel. What was it like for you to be included in the company of such an ambitious television show?
I don't remember. All I remember is that the director was Phil Giuano, kind of fresh out of USC Film School, and I remember it was 85. The name of the show was Santa 85. I think I had just finished Desperately Seeking Susan, which was really my first kind of big movie. I remember when it came out, and there was Madonna and Rosanna Arquette on the cover of Rolling Stone. I thought, wow, there's a movie I've done that's really kind of hit the big time. And I don't remember if that got me the gig or if there was some kind of groundswell professionally, that it brought me into the company of these people. But nevertheless, there I was.
Now, you had done some early TV stuff like The Paper Chase, Seduction of Gina. Did you have to scale down your sound for the TV budget?
I don't remember doing that. I think in the end, you have the budgets you have and you work to them. And I think I was so new and green at that time that, you take the job that's in front of you and do the best you can. Again, there's much less thinking, I think, as you're going through, particularly at an early stage of your career where there's so few choices you have in terms of where you can go and who you are. So there was, again, I don't think any obvious thoughtfulness about it so much as just, can I do it or will I die?
You could say there's a magical sound to both Lost Boys and Amazing Stories. In the Lost Boys case, it's very dark, and in Amazing Stories, you still, again, have a sense of darkness and the light for Christmas.
Yeah, again, it's adaptation. I think a good film composer wants to be empathetic to character, to the wishes and aspirations of the directors, and I think if you are sensitive, you pick up on that, and hopefully that comes out. So again, it's intuitive, I think, more than intellectual.
Here's music from Thomas Newman's score for The Lost Boys and a suite from Santa 85 from Amazing Stories.
A suite, eh? Bye.